Hey everyone, it's Karashkur here, and I want to talk about the Season 8 update preview that we received recently because there are very interesting updates for the Mongols, and also they are correlated to the Horseman Rush, improving it by a little bit, making it a bit more viable, and I think it's also going to become a second meta for the Mongols. In any case, I'm looking at the patch notes. I don't want to discuss any other aspects that are not related to Mongols. Maybe I'm going to mention them in the videos, but I think by now you have already read the patch notes by yourselves. You've seen there is a new map. The sheep were modified. Also, this affects the Mongols with the pastures. The first important update is the fact that we get a bug fix for the cliffside and Himayama maps, where you couldn't place the uvus on the cliffs, on the stone. And yeah, it was kind of game breaking because it usually affected the second uvu that you would place close to your town center, but since you couldn't place it, you had to look for alternatives. Anyhow, other bug fixes are related to the prayer tent, not very relevant. The first interesting update and buff related to the horsemen is this one. Their range has been increased. We're going to see what this means, but this means they're going to reach the villagers much faster, and this is really good. Maybe they will also fix the pathing issues that you have with a horseman when trying to attack the gold villagers. We also got the secondary town center upgrade, pretty small. And let's scroll to the Mongols and look in detail. So we get a range for the early horsemen, and we also get an increased ranged armor, which is very good. And I think this is going to make this raid a little bit more popular. So this is very nice, and we'll talk about what this actually means in a second. So the Horseman Rush, I have been using the Horseman Rush since the start of the game, since Season 1. And I played lots of Platinum games, so lots of games across Platinum, and finally I reached Diamond, and I have experimented against Diamond players. I have experimented against all sorts of players, so even Conqueror included, and the strategy has proven to be very efficient. So it's not a meme strategy in my opinion, but I can understand why people say that the tower rush is more efficient, of course, because you have a solid base around your opponent, but even the horseman rush can be followed up with a tower rush, so it's not excluded because you can go with 2 horsemen and 1 villager later on, but the distribution depends on you. I like to go for Mangudai and Keshik next, so I try to age up, and then I'm going for H2. So I have created the horsemen as quickly as possible. We're at minute 250, around the 3-10 minute mark, we're going to attack the gold. So the extra defense is very good, because if you want to push the villagers of gold towards their town center, it's going to be less damage taken by the horsemen. This is awesome. And for example, if you're playing against a ranked player, you might be playing against Holy Roman Empire, so it's very important to push off gold. Of course, with the extra range, maybe it would have been more easy to kill the villagers. So who knows how the extra range is going to improve these rushes. So of course we're going to age up a little bit slower, but this is what happens if you create units. And I believe that the Mongols, this is the way in which the Mongols were meant to be played. I believe they were meant to be played with cavalry, with early rushes, and this is why they have access to the horsemen. So I'm very happy to see that the Mongols got an update on this one. What does the update mean? The upgrade in the update, what does it mean for the feudal age, for example? Well, it means that once you upgrade your horsemen, they will probably have 3 ranged armor, which is very good, because you're going to play against players who will like to tower up, to defend, and if you can go with a horseman on the towers, that's awesome. They will take less damage, and this is very efficient. This is very effective. Okay, we can also get enemy scouts. We can also push enemies of stone if they want to go for a second town center, so we can even punish that. So yeah, this is awesome. Of course, the upgrade of the armor doesn't affect the armor you get against spearmen. So yeah, in many situations you can raise the buildings to get 50 resources. So this is okay. You can still dive under town center, provided your opponent hasn't built too many spearmen or maybe a tower. But once you get H2, I think the most important thing you can do is to upgrade your horsemen and to follow up maybe with Mangudai. So let's upgrade our horsemen. We got another villager. Of course, it's not difficult against the AI. Nothing too fancy. But now that our horsemen are upgraded, let's fight the spearmen. We're going to dive in with this one. Okay, maybe a player would have raised. But we already have two armor. We're following with Mangudai. In case our opponent went for a second for a tower on the gold, then we had horsemen with 3 ranged armor. We would go for the blacksmith in order to get the upgrade, the arrow upgrade. So this would mean that our horsemen would have exactly 4 ranged armor, which is very good. And together with Mangudai, the horsemen are going to be a very good unit. So we can stop an HRE player. We can dive under a town center. Okay, so the next thing to discuss about the update is the Mangudai, the change in the cost of the Mangudai creation. But before that, we should take a look at the deer stones and see that something is coming up. We're getting Khan's hunters, and this is very interesting to see. So we're getting new stuff in the feudal age. At that time, when we're raiding and attacking our opponent, trying to get villagers, and getting Khan's hunters sounds pretty good. Maybe we can get them from the deer stones. Maybe the Khan can spawn the units just like John Dark. So this would make the Khan a more versatile hero, a hero that doesn't only use the arrows but can also summon units at key points in the game. Or maybe we get 3 units every 60 seconds from the deer stones. Maybe we will get a Mangudai or a horseman every 60 or 90 seconds, just like the Ayubids with the desert raiders. This would be very interesting to see. So I'm very curious about this one, but unfortunately this is only going to happen in August. So it's still going to take some time until we get to see this. Okay, so let's get to the next point, the Mangudai. So we're getting a different cost in the Mangudai. Unfortunately, no damage update, no attack speed update. Very unfortunate. Still, the Mangudai is a very versatile unit, very useful. I use it a lot even in the feudal age, at the beginning of the feudal age, after I finished my Horseman Rush. I'm going for Mangudai, and at first glance I think this upgrade is pretty good. The build order has to change a little bit, but the fact that it costs less food is very good. The fact that it costs less stone is also very good, because then we can send the Keshik earlier with the rest of the stone that was being collected. The increased gold cost means most probably that we're going to put a villager on gold in the beginning very early, so we have to gather a little bit more gold. And also I believe that trade is going to become more popular with this, because to sustain this kind of cost, this is going to add up in time, so we need to secure different gold income. So a secondary gold source would be very awesome. Even if other players are going for 2 TC, having a market is pretty good. And this is how we can afford the rest of the Mangudai. Probably the proportion of Keshik is going to change, so maybe we're going to add more horsemen instead of Keshik, so we can collect the gold to go to age 3. I don't know, we'll have to see and experiment. We're going to discuss this further soon, and we're going to try out a build order. But maybe the fact that the Mangudai will cost more, this will make players use the silver tree more than the deer stones. Maybe they're trying to make the deer stones more popular with the Khan's hunters. I still believe that the deer stones is a very good building for the second age, because the tower, if you go for a forward tower, then you're going to have the YAM network making your attacking units much faster, and this is very useful when you're using cavalry. So the deer stones is also pretty good. We can also use it with traders. So yeah, we'll have to see, and we'll have to adapt to this one. So let's see. Okay, so currently we're at the point where we're attacking with the horsemen a little bit, and we're pretty sure that we're going to go for the Mangudai. So we need to distribute 3 villagers on gold in the beginning, and then we're going to send 2 to build the archery range. 3 are going on gold. Okay, let's see if we can get some extra attacks on the villagers. Okay. Also, we need to make sure that we have enough units. Maybe we're going to create another horseman. Currently, our opponent is busy with the okay, so they are producing spearmen. Alright, so now we are at the point where we're going to age up. We have done some damage with the Horseman Rush. We're going to upgrade them as well. Okay, and let's put our army here and meet up. Okay, we're going to go for extra units from the stable. Even if they are going for spearmen, we're still going to produce stable units, and then we're going for the Mangudai. Currently, we would have had enough gold to get the wheelbarrow and the Mangudai out, so this is okay. This is good. So I think the key point is to put 3 villagers on gold once you're aging up, and then follow up until you have 6. So this number looks pretty okay to me. We would have had extra food to build a horseman, so this is also one thing to consider. Okay, let's go for another horseman. Oh, okay, why did I cancel the villagers? So let's go for another Mangudai maybe. Okay, we can now follow up with a blacksmith, and let's see. Okay. Mangudai are coming out. So I think this is the key point that we need to change. We would have had more food with a new update, and I think it's easier to adapt once the update is out. But still, it doesn't hurt to take a look and to speculate how the games are going to turn out. So Mangudai are good units. I believe that the change in the cost is not going to affect, at least it's not going to affect the way in which I use Mangudai. I'm just going to adapt because I implement them in my unit roster nonetheless. So I'm always going for Mangudai. Okay, in this situation I'm going to cancel a second TC, which is very nice. Okay, we need more on food. Okay, let's go. Okay. So as you can see, with 6 villagers we're fine. We need to keep quite a lot of villagers on food still. So I believe the update is going to be pretty good because we don't need to have so many villagers on food anymore to produce Mangudai and Keshik. And so currently I'm struggling with food. I do have too many on wood, too many on gold, but to me the update is pretty okay because it is going to balance out the way in which the resources accumulate, and I think it's going to be for the better. So in my opinion, this update is very welcome. It is going to improve the games a lot, especially if you are using Mangudai as a Mongols player. I think you should definitely try it out. In order to compensate for the increased cost of the Mangudai, we can go for a market. I haven't discovered my market here, but I'm going to assume it is in the bottom corner here somewhere. And we're still going to produce units. And yeah, at this point we're going to have enough resources for any type of units that we want to afford. So at this point of the game, it's just about considering the right balance of the army. But I think it is possible to overcome the increased gold cost of the Mangudai, so it's no problem. In the end, it is going to help the food production, because food is usually a problem at the beginning of the feudal age, not gold. So for gold it's pretty easy because we can just put one extra villager on gold and then we have solved the problem. But with food you can never have enough food. So yeah, I would have been happy to see an increased damage of the Mangudai, but or even a ranged armor, maybe some melee armor, ranged armor as well, because this is what Mangudai lacks. I think the problem with Mangudai is the fact that they are not armored enough. So if you're just going a little bit under a town center, your opponent can kill one of your Mangudai, so this is problematic. So yeah, in order to compensate for the cost, I think trading is going to be alright, and I think this is what is going to change. So yeah, see you in the next one. Where's my